Okay,
Hi.
welcome. You're here for the Girl on Fire Thorns live show. I'm Nicole. This is my channel. And we'll start off by introducing my co-host. So, Ishi, do you want to go?
Sure. I'm Ishi from the channel Ishi Time.
And
Someone
Meg.
else. Yeah.
I'm Megan from Meg with Books.
And Simone.
I am Simone from the channel Chasing Pages.
Okay, so we're going to start off with doing a spoiler-free discussion. So we'll talk about our general thoughts and give you a synopsis on the book, and then we'll dive into spoilers. So do you want me to give the synopsis, guys, or? Yeah? Okay, so we're following Princess Alyssa, and from the beginning, it's her 16th birthday, and she is just about to be married to this king that she has never met. And she has this godstone in her belly button, and this godstone is very special because only once a century is someone gifted with it, and it basically means that she's destined for greatness. And yeah, it kind of deals with her a lot of politics and what else did you say, guys? Like, it's very mysterious. You can't really give a lot of what this book is really about because it really is about the discovery.
There's a lot of traveling too.
Yeah, there's a lot of traveling and adventure. Yeah. Yeah, there's so much mystery. Like, I'd forgotten this time around how much mystery there was. Yeah. Should we start off with ratings, maybe?
Sure.
Yeah.
Should I go last? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. If you go, I'm really curious to hear what you gave it.
So I really enjoyed it. I liked the overall experience of reading it. I was like, oh, this is fun. But so I gave it around like a 4. I was thinking like around 4 stars. But I'm also like a very critical reader, especially when it comes to like writing style and like even like symbolism and motifs and stuff like that. So then I was like, maybe I should go down to a 3, just because I don't know. I loved all the characters, but I feel like they could be better developed. You know what I mean? And I feel like this book could have gone a lot slower because just when you're starting to like some people, she's already like traveling off to some other place. So I wish that she stayed longer in the different places that she was at. So right now I'm kind of like hovering between a 3 and a 4. And I just want to hear what you guys think before I like make up my mind.
Okay, Meg?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, I think, a lot more than I was expecting, just because it is like an older YA book, and usually I don't have like much success with them. But yeah, I think I'm going to be giving it, well, I have already given it 4 stars, because yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I feel like there's a lot I'm excited to read all the future books as well. I mean, I know I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, but like I feel like there's so much for us to build on. Like there's so many different routes that the story can go down, and so yeah, I'm really excited for those. But yeah, I think I've given it like a 4 stars. I really enjoyed it.
So I gave it 4 stars as well, but I'm kind of hovering around like a 3.82 maybe, just because like I don't want to give it like a full 4 stars. I did really enjoy it. It was like the beginning is the part that I just really love the most, and it just was kind of dragging a little bit in the middle, but I still really enjoyed
really?
it.
The end's my favorite part.
Yeah, I really like the end too. It was just the middle parts of the middle where I was just like, okay. But yeah, I really liked it though.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so because I read this series probably, I think around 2013, I want to say, or maybe 2014. And in my mind, the entire series was 5 stars. But when I went back and checked my Goodreads rating, I actually gave the first 2 books 4 stars and the last book 5 stars. So that was kind of interesting. I don't know when I'm going to rate it. Like, it's still 4, might be a bit above. I just noticed so many things this time around that like are hinted at for like later on. So I felt more inclined to love it. But yeah, we'll see. I really love the main character so much. Like, she's one of my all-time favorite main characters. I thought her growth was like so amazing. And her binge eating disorder, I really loved how all that was done, and just her whole like journey of self and her confidence is what I just, it's just something I love so much about it. What did you guys like?
Sorry, did you say you've read the whole series or just the first couple?
I read the first 3, and then she's adding on the next book, which comes out in April. Yeah, but it's like a sequel standalone. So it follows a different character in the same world. Yeah.
I really like the main character. I had a really hard time liking her in the beginning because I found her to be like really childish. And I was like, there's no way I'm reading this entire book like for her.
You pulled through though.
Yeah, but like after she got to the palace, like the other country, that's when I started to really like her.
Yeah. She's so judgmental in the beginning. Like she's always comparing her body and her looks to everyone, and
especially
she is 16.
Yeah. Like, especially her sister. She's like, my sister hates me. I'm like,
and then also Arena or whoever, the mistress of the king. Her as well. Yeah. I think that's one critique I would say. There wasn't a lot of there was a lot of girl hate, especially in the beginning. Like I feel like she warmed up to the men like instantly, and then it took a while with the women. That's the only thing.
As I feel like her character development was really good. By the end of the book, she really grew.
I think for me, the thing I loved the most about it was like the whole time I was reading it, I was like, this is what I wished like Shadow and Bone was. Or like I loved how I thought the world building in this was so good, and like I understood the kind of politics and the society so well. And I guess because like I guess I was comparing it to Shadow and Bone because they're kind of both YA early fantasy, and there's that kind of traveling aspect. So I feel like they were giving off similar vibes, but this just did everything I wanted it to do in terms of like understanding the kind of climate that the lead character was in. Like I fully understood everything that was going on. I felt like it was a really, really well-rounded world, I thought. So that was like probably the highlight for me.
And I love how it's like a classic kind of fantasy adventure story where they're actually traveling and adventuring through the world. I feel like we don't really get much of that at all anymore. I really enjoyed that, and just seeing kind of like you said, like the different climates and the whole cultural aspect of it as well was really interesting, and the religion that was intertwined with the magic and how they interplayed with the politics of the world. I really enjoyed.
And I did say that it felt like it went too fast, but I was enjoying it. It's not that I didn't like it. I was like maybe
you wanted more.
Yeah,
fair enough. Should we just dive into spoilers now?
Let's get spoilers.
Okay, let's get into spoilers. What did you think of Alejandro? I don't know how to say it. He's the guy she married.
Okay, real tea. I thought he was gonna like be a villain at one point. Like I thought, I like didn't trust him. Like I was like, girl, why are you taking us through the back entrance? Like not letting me, reveal my true status. I didn't like that, but I liked him by the end. I felt like the ending kind of did him a little bit of justice, like the ending, you know what I mean? I'm still trying to be not spoilery, but like I feel like, when he died. But like I don't know. I think he was an interesting way to see her, like, I guess what's the word I'm looking for? Like pine or like want this, want what she thinks she should want, right? And then to see her go on her journey and then come back to him, and him be unchanged but her be completely changed. I thought like that dynamic was really interesting, but yeah, I thought he wasn't gonna. I didn't trust him for.
I didn't trust him either.
Yeah.
For people who I think just joined it, we're on spoilers. I didn't like him because I found him sketchy, especially especially considering the fact that he was marrying a 16-year-old girl.
Yeah, how old is he?
He had a 6-year-old son, so I feel like
I know, but we never got his actual age.
Yeah,
like 30 something at least.
Yeah,
I feel like that was quite common back then, though. Like I didn't really.
Yeah. And I didn't like the fact that I felt like he was treating her like a side girl. You know what I mean? And like not telling anyone that they're married. I was like, I don't trust him at all. And I also noticed that in the beginning he like wouldn't really. He doesn't want to get like intimate with her, but then after she gets back and she's like skinnier, he was like all about that, and I was like, no, like
yeah. I feel like I never liked him, but at least at the ending, I was like, okay, you're a flawed character, but like, I'm fine with where your story has gone, and I'm fine with leaving it here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I felt like I understood him more in the end when we find out that he's just like scared.
Like a real scared little boy.
Yeah.
That's totally
I thought it was
fair.
Interesting because he was like hardly actually present in the scenes, but it felt like he had a lot of character development. But I guess that was just her seeing him with like fresh eyes at the end. It was really interesting the way that was done.
Yeah. I don't know. And in my head as well, like I think of the time that she's at his palace like as a bigger chunk of the novel than it actually is, and I don't know why. Like I feel like she's there ages, but she's not. She's barely there at all. So I don't know why that is, but I just kind of like I think of that as quite influential. I guess it moves the whole rest of the story forward, but
I feel like it's also because the description of that place was like really vivid in my mind. So I can easily just picture her being there.
And I feel like the setup when you go into the story as well, you think it's going to be this court intrigue, and then it ends up being she gets kidnapped like out of nowhere.
I was like, this can't be happening. Like, there's no way.
I think that was a good thing about. Oh, sorry, you go. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I love how unpredictable this was. But you go now.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. Like, I was going to say, every new development that there was, I really didn't expect it to go that. Like, I would never have seen it. Like each time we moved on, it was really unexpected. And I liked that. I think you don't always get that. Like sometimes you kind of predict what's coming up, but every time it was like, whoa.
And I feel like it wasn't too it was unexpected, but not like out of the blue. Like I can see why that would happen, kind of thing.
But it still shock you. You still got that like shock factor. Yeah. What did you think of other love interests?
Okay, I low-key felt like Lord Hector was also like because I swear when I was reading them and she was like meeting Lord Hector and like going around with him, I was like,
me too.
Like, I see you.
I wrote in my like notes, I was like, is this going to be a love triangle? Like when she was meeting Hector, little did I know.
And now that both the other two are dead, like Lord Hector's still there. Just saying.
If I am a woman who makes predictions, I think we're gonna go down that road. I may be wrong. Nicole knows if I'm wrong or right. So, listen, I think that's where we're going.
Yeah. I also agree.
What do you think, Simone?
I'm not like you guys are really like sus with everyone, but I'm like really trusting. I'm so trusting. And I'm just like, oh no, they're so nice. And then they just like backstab you, and I'm just like, oh, okay. But I didn't think anything of him. I just thought he was just like a supporting character who was just going to be there to like further the story. So yeah.
I think I really enjoyed the love triangle situation, which is like I wouldn't usually, but I kind of wish that I felt like she'd eventually have to make the choice between Alejandro and like Humberto, and but then he just like goes and dies. So I feel like
They both go and die.
like I just feel like it was kind of like an easy way out for the author to like not have her make a decision between the two by just like killing him off. And the same with like Alejandro. I feel like if he was alive in the next book, I feel like it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Like he didn't have that big a reason to die. Like he just had like he was just like sick for a while. Like he could have gotten better, you know?
Yeah.
I wonder what he would have done though in the next book, because he really didn't have much of a purpose, you know?
I know. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I really liked Humberto though.
Oh my god, I love him.
Yeah,
same. He was the biggest sweetie.
Oh my god. I was so sad. It's still so raw. I only read it this morning. I'm sad. I'm so sad that happened. But I am okay. Here's my hope. Like that we all remember him, keep in our memory, and that then Lord Hector pulls through.
Oh goodness!
How old is Lord Hector? Do you think he's like about the same age as Elisa, or about the same age as Alejandro?
I think he's older, but he's younger than the king.
I think he was like a younger friend of the king, so I think he may be a few years younger than the king. I think.
Yeah. But she's probably almost 17 by the end of the book anyway, because it did go over like a pretty long period of time. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
What did you think about? No, you go.
No, don't worry, you go.
No, I was going to change the topic, so you go.
I was just gonna say I really enjoyed like the parts with I don't know where it's called. I've forgotten the name of where it's called, but like Humberto's gang, you know, when we're there. And I loved the scene where she kills the powerful dude. What are they called? I can't remember.
Annie Maggie is like from Harry Potter.
Yeah,
I don't know how you say it.
Yeah,
but yeah, I loved that part as well, because that was my favorite part of the book, when we were with like all of the orphan children. They were like all trying to pull together. Like I liked that part. Yeah. Anyway, what were you gonna say, Nicole?
I was gonna actually ask, what did you think of Cosme?
Ooh. I thought she was interesting.
Yeah, that is the one character that I actually thought was like suspicious from the start, when she like actually found out that she had the Godstone, and she was like, oh no, don't tell anyone. And she was like, she zoomed out really fast. I kind of knew like something was gonna happen, because she seemed kind of like she was gonna say something.
I really liked her. She seemed kind of like the jack of all trades. Like she was like a maid, a spy, like traveler, whatever. She kind of knew how to do everything. Like, and she was like a healer too. Like I knew she was like suspect at the start, but I loved the little like kind of friendship that started between her and Elisa. Like especially when they got to that place. I forgot what it's called too.
Don't ask me any of the names.
Hold on. It's like, the foothills? Is that where they were?
Yeah, the hill countries they called it.
Like, yeah.
It was in there, but I don't know the actual name of like the city. Yeah, I really liked her because I feel like her attitude as well towards Elisa was, you know, given, because Elisa was so pampered and she didn't have, you know, she was an orphan. She grew up having to do stuff for herself. I think it was really reasonable, and then it was really nice at the end that she, you know, they both became friends, and she's like, you know, you weren't who I expected you to be. That was really nice.
Okay, I have a question about like the Godstone itself. Do you guys think it's like a little like a belly button piercing type of thing, or is it like larger? because there's no way Cosme would just be able to like touch her stomach and feel it, like if it's just like a tiny little thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's like a bigger jewel. I think it's like
Yeah,
a
that
bigger.
pokes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I
Yeah.
imagined it, like domed.
Like,
Do you know what I mean?
Wait, I picture it like that, like honestly. That
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then also when you know how all the other like the evil people, the sorcerers have them like around their neck? Like are they wearing like a huge thing around their neck, or is it just like a little jewel?
I thought it was like that big.
Yeah.
I thought it was little, and then sometimes they had it in something.
Yeah, like a little
Like
So it
a
might
cage.
be bigger. Yeah. What did you think of that whole like Godstone business and the religion and all that?
I liked it. I thought it was like quite. I mean, I know a lot of fantasy books have like religion in them somehow, but I thought it was like quite an original concept, and the whole like I liked how it tied back into history with like all the bearers throughout time, and yeah, I just thought it was like a cool concept for her, like for it to be for her to have like a physical manifestation of her power that she like can't remove, that she's kind of like stuck with, rather than it being like sometimes in fantasy books someone just having the power and you can't see it, like there's like a physical presence of it, you know. And I thought it was a super cool magic system. But yeah,
I wasn't the biggest fan because I feel like no, not like I didn't hate it, but I feel like it could have been like a little bit better, because I feel like every time there was a problem, she just prayed and it went away.
Yeah.
Like there was no sense of like continuous conflict around anything, because she's like, dear God, just fix this, and then it would just like be fixed.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was like interesting. But I really like all the other bears, and like you know how she had the little petal thing and then she put all the godstones in it, and it was like all the bearers before her. I really like that. And you know, like the yellow tiles, how she feels like a connection with past bearers. That was an interesting concept. But I kind of feel like, I don't know, like you know, especially those paragraphs where they're in church and they're like reading those hymns or whatever, like it literally felt like I was reading the Bible. I was like, what is it?
The one thing is, I do think like the bit about the yellow tiles was like shoehorned in, like right at the end. Like, I thought that was strange.
Yeah.
And also like I guess I noticed the whole like, oh, the godstone just fixes everything like thing, but like I feel like I just kind of accept that kind of writing when it's YA fantasy. I don't know if that's bad, but I kind of just like I don't expect it to be super like complex. Do you know what I mean? I kind of just accept it and I'm like, all right, I don't know.
And it's like a bit of like an older YA fantasy too.
Like, this was published in 2011, so it's nearly 10 years old.
It's a debut novel as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's her first book.
Okay.
And it won an award.
Ooh.
It's got something on my...
Ooh. Oh, mine doesn't have that.
Oh, it's for it being a debut book. It's a debut.
Kind of looks like the M from Ministry of Magic.
What I really liked about the religious aspect though was like how it always talked about God's will, and then how it had the two interpretations with their enemies. I thought that was really interesting. And you know that quote, it was what is it? Religion isn't the cause of war, it's the excuse. Like I kept on thinking of that and what was going on in here. I really enjoyed all that.
And I also liked how Elisa kept bringing up, like, what if the enemy had the godstone because they were born with it too? Like, you know what I mean? But everyone else was like, no, it can't be, like, blah, 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 blah. But I kind of found it interesting that she thought that obviously, like, they could be born with it too if people on this side of the world are also born with the godstone.
Yeah.
Makes sense? Yeah.
I feel like that could come up.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I feel like that could like further develop in the future books as well. That was it.
I was just gonna say, I feel like the enemies were always described as like these powerful people who could really like end everyone's lives. But I feel like the conflict with them wasn't very big, especially at the end. I feel like they were all coming up, starting the war like in a line, all marching up, and then they were defeated within like a few minutes. And it felt like it was really fast for like the threat that it posed. But,
yeah, that's true. Especially because they said it's a war that never ended.
Yeah.
So it's like, I also, when she describes the people, like the enemy several. Okay, first though, I feel like the enemy isn't really that powerful. It's just the sorcerers. Like I feel like the normal like footmen on the enemy side are like not that powerful, but like the sorcerers are like the real power behind those armies.
The animagi.
And when she describes the enemy, she says they have like clumpy hair, and I just don't know what that means.
I don't even remember that.
Really? She said like 10 times, like they have clumpy hair.
Is it because they? Oh no, she braids her hair. I was gonna say it's because they braid it down, but she has that too.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means either.
I was thinking maybe like they're like like they don't wash it, so it's like like dirty. But remember the part where she's hiding in the cave, and they're like all these humans are so like barbaric, like they're blah 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 blah. So I was like, okay, like they're like definitely like they have good hygiene, so they like dirty. So I was like, I'm trying to picture it in my head, but I can't.
I can't remember.
Let me find
I
the
don't
page.
know.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes in these kind of books there are just weird descriptions occasionally, and you're like, what does that mean? Oh dear.
I really like the character of Father Nicandro. I don't like at the like Alejandro's like country.
Yeah,
I really liked him.
Yeah, he was good. I liked how he was willing to give her information because everyone else was keeping her in the dark. Yeah.
I have a question. Why, when they first met him, did she think that her maid was going to murder him like straight away? Like I didn't get that.
Because you know how when they were traveling and the maid just murdered someone who mentioned the Godstone?
Yeah. I get
wasn't that
but
why? Like, wasn't that in her mind? And she thought like she wasn't allowed to talk to.
Maybe, but like I feel like they were speaking to quite a few people about the Godstone, and then like she turns up there and
maybe
she
because
doesn't
he
like
would know.
Maybe,
like I wouldn't know about and he has all the information.
Maybe, yeah.
I really like the nurse as well, though.
Yeah,
I really like the character.
Yeah. I liked how she was like a mother. Actually, her family relationship was really interesting because they were like hardly mentioned at all, and and just her sister. There was like a lot of tension there from what we saw in the beginning. Yeah.
And I also, you know how in the beginning her sister was like trust no one except for like Alejandro. But then that never really like came up again.
Yeah. I also can't, because I probably found this out in the other books, but I don't remember them like hardly at all. But because you know how her taster was poisoned, like we never found out who actually did that either.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of just like things that are like kind of like put in, and then you don't really like come back to it, I guess. But I feel like in the book she experiences so much loss, like people close to her dying, and there's no exploration into how she kind of feels about that beyond a few pages. Do you know what I mean? Like you would have thought by the end she's lost all these people, like so close to her. Like first her it wasn't her mate. Like, what was that? I can't remember.
I think she was the maid,
was.
and I think the one alive was her nurse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, lady
No,
in
I think it was
waiting.
her first lady in waiting or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the one that, and then Zima, I think that was her who survived. That's the nurse.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I feel like just so many people around her died, and she was just kind of like,
true.
I go on. I feel like maybe like I don't know. Yeah.
Especially with the first lady, like I can kind of understand with the deaths that happened at the end because she didn't really have time to grieve because she had to go fight a war. But like, the lady in waiting when she died, that was really brushed over. Yeah. What did you think of the little prince?
Oh, I loved him. So precious.
That one scene where she like took him to the market was just, I loved it so much.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was adorable.
I think my favorite scene was when she comes back, to the palace, and she's like the leader of the Malfacto, or is that what it's called?
Yeah, the rebellion.
Yeah, the rebellion. And she's like, and Alejandro didn't recognize her, but Prince Rosario was like, Elisa, is that you? And he's like, hugs her. That was my favorite scene.
That was so precious. Yeah. Yeah, I love that scene too.
And like when he was hiding the jewels for her at the end, like, and kind of raising his eyebrow. I hope he has a big part in the future books because I really like him. But just like, I guess, just like the rest of the story, I can't predict where it's gonna go. Like I don't know because it kind of all had a bit of a nice resolution in some ways. Like a lot of our characters, like Cosme's been made like queen, isn't she, of this area and stuff like that. Like I don't know how we're going to bring those people back together with another source of conflict, or is it going to be new characters and like with her and stuff? I don't know. Like I was just smiling. Like
I don't remember. I remember like the very, very end, but I don't remember anything from book 2.
Oh gosh,
I don't know what's in that.
Yeah. Okay, in the end, remember how she mentioned like when all the mirrors and windows broke, and she was like, "Oh, I wonder how like random people standing around their house, like how like if that affected them at all." But then we never like there was never like an overall like wrap up of like what actually happened out in the city. Like, we never know if like other random people were hurt because of that.
I wonder if the next book starts off like exactly where it finished, because I can't remember.
I'm excited to get into it though. I'm excited. I just hope like it kind of goes. God, I'm nervous.
What are you nervous for?
I just wanted to go a way that I enjoy and not go a way I don't enjoy.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes. I've got nothing for you, and I haven't even read the synopsis or anything.
No,
I
me
want
neither.
her to end up with Lord Hector, and I want Rosario to be there like the whole book.
Yeah.
And they can be like a little family. That's my prediction.
What did you guys think of the whole binge eating and like mental health representation in it?
At the beginning, like in the first chapter or so, I was kind of like, I like that a character is experiencing this. I like that we're seeing like the visibility of it, but like I felt it was maybe a little bit heavy-handed just in those first few chapters. But then I feel like when the discussion was more around like her feeling guilty when they were traveling in the desert about wanting food and being ashamed of like how little she could walk, I found that it was better dealt with in the latter parts of the book, I guess. But when I first initially read it, I was kind of like, oh, I'm not sure how this is gonna go. Like when she like came downstairs, I can't remember what happened, but like refusing to talk to her sister and just eating instead, and just a bit, I felt like it was emphasized every like other sentence at the beginning, but then I felt like the more you got into it and the more you got to know her as a character and like see her develop, the better it was dealt with, I thought.
I agree with that, and like especially when she was traveling, and I like that she didn't completely change. Like she didn't go from like she's like she didn't become completely like skinny at the end, because I feel like that was good, because she was still like, she wasn't like, she felt better about herself, and that just says a lot about like where she was mentally. Like she was okay with being herself, I feel like, in the end. And I also like, if like a lot of young people are reading this, you can kind of see like you can't just like become skinny, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like a hard process. And I think in like the end, like when she's at that village, like the foothills, she talked about how she had like lots of like excess skin. Like when you like lose weight, you just have like skin, right? Like I love how that was like mentioned in there. And I think one of my favorite parts was when she was like sitting, she, you know, when she was looking at her like old dressing gown and it like looked really large to her. And she said that, oh, I don't think I can fit into this anymore. And Humberto was like, oh, don't worry, like it'll put you right after like a few days of eating. I thought that was so sweet. Like, you know, like, it kind of like, it felt like the characters around her, or especially him, didn't really like, judge her because of her weight. Like he's like, oh, like maybe you want to like, maybe it was because we weren't eating like as much like in the desert, and now you're gonna have food to eat. I feel like that was, I don't know, I felt like that was sweet of him.
Yeah, I really liked
something similar. Sorry.
Yeah. He said something similar, like right at the end. But yeah, I was just gonna say, like with Humberto, I guess it was nice to see that he fell in love with her before she lost any of the weight, really, and that he was trying to like show her, like, yo, I love you regardless of whatever, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, and I really liked that when her nurse was with her and she was talking about how she'd changed with her nurse. She said something, oh yeah, because I've lost weight, and the nurse is like, no, you're more confident, like the way you like walk and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree though. It was very heavy-handed in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, because I was having it and I was like, this is a lot. Yeah, but it does get better. And I liked how she resolved it. Like, it wasn't a quick fix of anything.
Oh, God, I miss Humberto.
I know, me too.
Yeah. He was a sweetie.
Yeah.
I think, but with the other characters, because you were saying that you felt like some of the side characters weren't really fleshed out. I definitely felt that with the gang, like Humberto and Cosme were really fleshed out, but the other two guys that they traveled with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There was like no distinction between those two guys.
And then when the guy betrayed them, it was like, oh, okay, like we didn't really hear much about him.
Yeah.
It's like most of the time I didn't realize they were even there.
I know.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite moments? You go.
Oh, I don't know, that's hard. My favorite moments. Okay. I really like the part with once she's been like kidnapped and she's in the mount, whatever, the hill village part. I really liked that part of it, because I feel like that's maybe where we saw her do like her most growth. And we saw her like learn about herself the most. And I guess like it's a nicer, although like her nurse isn't there, I guess the characters were more honest. Do you know what I mean? Like I did feel like I could trust most of them. And it was more like them trying to struggle against those in power, rather than it just being like in a palace or nice and safe. Do you know what I mean? I felt like that was probably my favorite parts. But I liked the bit where they when they went to I can't remember what it's called, but the other kind of city, and they like spiked the the food supply, and they were all so happy, and then it all went south.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part was, you know, when she's coming back from like the enemy's camp, and she's like, the Godstone is like telling her where to go, and it tells her to go to Humberto. I was like, oh, that's so precious. I think that one scene, and then in the end where the nurse and Rosario are like looking for the gems, and she sends the Prince Rosario's like, I guess like his nurse home, so then he's just like living with her. I really like that entire section of the book.
Yeah.
I really like the very, very end where she like has the reunion with everyone. I think that was just really interesting to see like the differences between like their interactions from the beginning, because I really did like the beginning as well, mostly because I just like court life and it's just really interesting to me. So yeah, it was just really interesting to see the differences, and yeah.
One thing I do remember about the other books, this isn't a spoiler, because like Cosme is the queen, and then she kind of rules here, and then her sister rules their kingdom a bit. So they all like have their politics going on. I remember really liking that. But I think my favorite bit was when Hector found her again, and she's like got that guy at knife point, and he's like, "Who are you?" Yeah. And then when she came back and she doesn't get recognized by the king. And, I like those moments where she had her like power entry kind of. Yeah. They were definitely vibes. Yeah. Who was your favorite character?
Ooh. I don't know. Someone's got to go before me because I can't decide yet.
I would say Cosme. I liked her.
Yeah, I think Cosme had like the best growth, like other than the main character. Like,
I don't know if she really had growth. It was more like we understood her because, like,
that's what I mean.
Elisa
like,
had growth. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like what Elisa thought of Cosme like changed throughout the book.
Yeah.
And because of that, we got to know Cosme more.
Yeah, I agree.
And I feel like some things were insinuated about. That's the one thing, like, because maybe it's why it was prevented a bit, but there were some things about Cosme's past that were kind of like hinted at that I don't know if it gets into more like in other books. But
her dad?
I don't know what we're supposed to think there.
Yeah. Because at first, because I couldn't remember any of that. And I was like, oh, is she his mistress or something?
That's what I thought. And then she found out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess because it's YA, like it doesn't really want to like full on
go there.
Say that.
Yeah.
But I feel like when we learn stuff like that, it made us understand like where she's coming from more. Yeah. Same.
Anyway. Okay, who was your least favorite character then?
Okay. No. Okay.
Wait, what about your guys' favorite characters?
Oh yeah. Okay. You go, Simone.
Okay, I think my favorite character was probably besides Elisa was it her nurse or Zamina? I don't remember who she's supposed to be. But yeah, I really liked her just because whenever she was there, I felt like, oh, everything is gonna be okay. Just because she felt like a character that would kind of be safe throughout the whole thing. Like she wouldn't die. I felt like a lot of people were gonna die, and she
Yeah.
felt like a safe character who honestly just like made everything okay.
Yeah.
She was like her mom.
Yeah. That's what I loved. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Humberto is probably my favorite character. I just loved him. Like, I just thought he was just like, and I'm not usually like,
A soft boy lover?
No, just like I don't really care about love interest in general. Like, if it's not like the main topic of the book, I guess.
Yeah.
But I just loved him, and then I didn't think he was gonna die until they were. Well, I can't remember. They were queuing up to meet the guy, and he was like, I know how we can be together. And she's like, oh, I can't talk about this now. And I was like, you're never going to get to talk about it, are you? And that's when I knew. That was so sad. But yeah, I think he was my favorite. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I just loved how unpredictable it all was. And you just, didn't see any of it coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who my favorite is though. I think it might be Elisa. But I feel like because I loved her so much the original time I read it as well, that I kind of have that, extra. Attachment. But my least favorite. I don't know, it's kind of hard because like I feel like some of them weren't fleshed out enough to say that they were my least favorite. Like I didn't feel passionately enough to hate someone. Yeah.
I didn't like the mistress just because I felt like she was one note. Do you know what I mean? I guess we didn't get any. I can't remember what her name is.
Arena or something.
Yeah, Arena.
Yeah.
Arena.
Yeah.
I just feel like I don't like it when characters are just like, oh, they're evil. Do you know what I mean? I usually want a bit more like understanding why they act the way they do.
And then she was also just killed off.
Yeah, and like you come back at the end and she's like just drunk and refusing to see anyone for months. And I'm like, when did this happen?
I feel like she could have been so much more because, in the meeting of the five, like she was talking about how she wanted to protect her people. And so I feel like, okay, like she's going somewhere. But then we got back and she's just like drunk and she just hates Lisa for no reason. I'm like, okay.
But she's Cosme's sister as well.
Yeah, like half sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like I didn't feel great about that. Like they're half sisters, but Cosme's just like her maid. I was like,
yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
But I guess that would have happened in that time period. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just wished like she could have been, I don't know, fleshed out more, or like left for the second novel to like come back with a vengeance, But she just died.
Yeah.
How did you guys find like the pacing and the writing and all that?
I think, in the beginning, like the first couple chapters, I found the writing to be kind of choppy. Like the sentences were really short and it felt just like, I don't know, it just felt a little bit choppy, but I feel like as the book went on, it got better. I'd say the pacing was a little bit fast, but I'm not like complaining about it because I did like how many different places we got to see. So it was fast, but I am not mad about it.
Yeah,
I would say the same.
Yeah. There's some points though, it's like, when it's always like, oh, it's been 2 months later. It's like, oh, what? Or like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
That always throws me off, but I guess there's no other way around it.
Yeah. I feel like it was a little bit realistic though, like especially in that time period, if you're traveling by camels, like it's gonna take you a while to get places.
Yeah. I loved the desert setting.
Yes, me too.
And I think from memory, the other books, they have like other settings. So there's like, a snow setting and
Mhm.
Like that was one thing I really liked about the series, was it really did have that adventure element.
Okay, I don't like. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm finished.
So I just like geographically, I'm trying to make sense of this map. Like, okay,
Mine doesn't have a map.
Oh, what?
Oh yeah, I haven't seen a map.
Okay, well,
No.
mine had a map, and this is where we are. Like, this is where the palace is with Alejandro.
Wait.
Like somewhere over here, and then the foothills are up here. So they traveled across this. Oh, they traveled across this desert and like got over there. So I'm like in the north. Like, shouldn't there be snow up there? Like, because that's where the foothills are. So I just like was looking at it and I was like, I don't understand what's going on.
It's just like mountains, and that's
Yeah,
it.
it's more like because there's a jungle and that's like kind of humid, right? That's how I pictured it.
Wait. No, just kidding. Okay. So this is the camp that they were at, the rebellion. And then this is where they are. So then they crossed this desert to get over here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then her home with her father is like over there.
But even that wasn't snowy.
Yeah.
Because they went through jungle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so jealous you got a map because I was actually like thinking the entire time, I wish I had a map because I like to follow along. Got nothing.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the map now, going like, oh. I like found it online.
Oh, I should have done that while I was reading it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Something I also really liked was how she referred to like their enemy as savages, and then when she met them they called her and her people like barbarians. I thought that was like really interesting the way that was done.
Yeah. I thought like the framing of like I don't know how they all kind of othered each other was quite interesting. Like I guess maybe in order to make themselves feel okay about all fighting each other, like they would both sides would kind of not view the other side as human, I guess. And I thought how that was done was like quite interesting. Yeah.
I'm really interested in where like the whole sorcery thing is going. Like we got to see a bit of it in the end when she used her like 5 godstones. But it'd be interesting to see like where this whole like sorcery plotline is gonna go in the next couple of books.
And the way the others use like they had to use like sacrifices and bloods. And like it was also interesting because you know how when they go to the services at the church, they had to prick their finger with the rose and do the blood, and then that was the same thing way they used the magic. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I enjoyed the kind of like the made up religious practices that she'd made, like I guess trying to juxtapose it to like our religious practices. Like the whole pricking of the thorns thing, I thought that was kind of an interesting I never would have thought of that as like a religious thing that someone would do. Do you know what I mean? So it was cool to see like her come up with it.
Yeah. I'm wondering if like the rose, you know how it was like always a rose? Is the rose a religious symbol or is it just like the means to like prick your finger?
I don't know. I probably think it probably is specific to the rose, but I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah, because also like the title of the book being The Girl of Rose, what's it called?
Oh yeah, Rose and Fire and Thorn.
Yeah.
Not roses, but you know what I mean. Roses.
Yeah, oh my god. I hadn't made the link of thorns.
Oh, me neither.
Until now.
But
I wouldn't see how she's the girl of fire because isn't fire like what the enemy used? And she never really had power over it.
Yeah. Because at the end, she just kind of like turned the mold and they obliterated it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's just how they were trying to like name books back then, you know. I mean, it still is like that. They're like, just think of girl and then 2 words that vaguely are mentioned a lot in the book.
Yeah, I can't really. Make the connection. Yeah.
What's the next book called?
The Crown of Embers.
Ooh.
Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, I'm excited.
We
Where's
can
it
read
gonna
the
go?
synopsis and make like assumptions. Do you want to do that?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll get it up.
My book has a little sneak peek. There's like 2 pages of The Crown of Embers. But I haven't read it.
Okay. Okay, so she doesn't know what awaits her at the enemy's gate. Elisa is a hero. She led her people to victory over the terrifying sorceress army. Her place as the country's ruler should be secure, but it isn't. Her enemies come at her like ghosts in a dream from foreign realms and even from within her own court. And her destiny as the chosen one has not yet been fulfilled. To conquer the power she bears once and for all, Alyssa must follow a trial of long forgotten and forbidden clues from the deep hidden catacombs of her own city to the treacherous seas. Oh, so I think this one goes across the seas.
Ooh.
I don't remember. But with her go one-eyed spy, a traitor, and the man whom, despite everything she is in love with.
Lord Hector.
If she's lucky, she will return from this journey, but there will be a cost. Yeah. So
Okay.
the traitor must come back into the story.
No, but he's
That
the
was-
one-eyed spy. No?
Hang
Wait,
on.
who's the one-eyed spy?
Because
Yeah,
it
the
says,
guy-
with her go, one eye spied, a traitor. Is he spying her or is he spying someone else? Like, that's the
No, I
question.
think they were all spies, right? Like all of the rebels were kind of like spies.
Yeah.
I remember he was missing an eye, so that's why I assumed it was
Yeah,
him.
so it must be
what was
him.
his name?
Berlin or something?
Yeah, Berlin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who's the traitor?
He can't
Cosme?
be, he
Like,
can't be the
she-
traitor.
I mean, she was a traitor like initially. I don't mean like by the end. I mean when she
Yeah.
kidnapped her.
I don't
But I don't think that would be her. I can't think of
No.
anyone.
What if it's Lord Hector?
No, that he's a third one. He's the man. Yo, this is who is it?
What if the traitor's the nurse? Like, we liked her so much and we're just about to get like whipped in the face.
Unless it means the
Yeah.
spy and the traitor is the same person and there's like a mistake on Goodreads.
With her go a one-eyed spy, a traitor, and the man whom, despite everything.
Or maybe-
I'm confused.
That is really confusing.
Yeah.
Who is the traitor? I suppose we'll find out.
Yeah. But they wouldn't just tell you, oh yeah, these 3 people are traveling with her, and you can work out immediately which is which. And then you're going to know who the traitor is. Like, that ruins the...
I feel like there's definitely going to be new characters.
Yeah.
I think there has to be because everyone's
Everyone's
died.
dead.
Okay. Do you guys have anything to add?
I feel like we've discussed everything for me.
Yeah, we
anyway.
did pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just looking through my notes and I had like notes on every character like the moment they were introduced. So there, like the first note I have for Alejandro is I think he's a snake. And this is like when they were getting married.
See, I had hopes for him at the wedding, like at the initial marriage, and then as soon as I realized he was taking her through the back gates, I was like, nah, this ain't it. This ain't it.
Yeah, because I liked him their wedding night where he was like, do you want to be friends? And, you know, we don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, yeah, back gate, kept it all a secret. And then the way he treated his son and...
I know. Oh, the part where the prince was like, but Papa never keeps his promises. I was like, Like my heart. And then Lisa was like, I always keep my promises and you're not getting any coconut milk. I was like,
Yeah. Do you have anything to add, Simone? Or
I don't think so. No.
no?
Honestly, I think it's a unpopular opinion, but I didn't really like him, Alejandro. I didn't like him from the beginning.
yeah,
Just because, even by the end, I still didn't really like him.
I know.
Just
I
because
think I didn't care for him. Like I just didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he was just kind of a little bit like full of himself,
Yeah.
and it just kind of like rubbed me the wrong way. And I was just like, you don't really care about her. Like he's gonna end up betraying you. I just knew something was gonna happen.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else, guys?
No, not for me. I don't have anything else to add.
Okay, well, I guess we should say that the next book is The Crown of Embers, and the live show is going to be on Simone's channel. And the Twitter's linked in the description box, so we'll keep it updated with when the live show is going to be. And yeah, that's it, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I can't wait.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
I think it's